Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicStoday.com, here with the Warner, errato for some reason, the recordings were actually virgin, Pletnev box. Yes, when he was sort of young and interesting. Recordings from 1988 to 2001, 16 CDs. There were wonderful things here. They made his reputation, here in the West anyway, and he promptly jumped ship for Deutsche Grammophon, from whence he's made an entire series of, some interesting and a lot of really lousy recordings as a conductor, not so much as a pianist. Here he appears in both roles, but principally as a pianist, which means he's going to be a lot better than he is when he's on the podium. Let's see what we have it here, shall we? It's, like I said, 16 CDs, and boy. Do we have a track listing? We do have a track listing. These are all original jackets, in case you're curious. There's an original jacket, more or less. Yeah, they look very original and jackety, but we don't have to pull them all out. We can do it from the booklet. You ready? Well, the first two discs are phenomenal. His Scarlatti recordings. Pletnev was the ideal Scarlatti pianist. He really was. He had the virtuosity to burn. He had the quirkiness of temperament, the willingness to probe the eccentric corners of Scarlatti's inspiration. These are some of the best Scarlatti recordings you'll ever hear in your life on any instrument by anybody. See? Look at that. They're amazing. So it's a great way to start. Absolutely great way to start. I just love these performances. Then he did a couple discs of Haydn, which were actually very good too. Surprisingly, it's very interesting how some of these people who are total whack jobs in the romantic repertoire can discipline themselves and really, really bring a lot of character and personality to the classical repertoire without being, completely twisted about it. So we've got Haydn's the F minor variations, which is deeply tragic and beautiful. A bunch of sonatas, numbers 33, the great C minor, 62, the last one in E flat, and 60. And then we've got a disc of his keyboard concertos, including the great D major with the Gypsy Rondo finale. They're lovely performances. They really are. They're very, very, very good. Then we've got Mozart. Let's see. We've got 4 piano concertos, 19, 20, 23, and 24. And again, let me see. It doesn't tell us who the performers are, the orchestra people are. So I guess we'll have to take these out, won't we? Let's do it that way. I shouldn't be lazy, should I? All right, so we got that. Now the Haydns, let's see, the sonatas, the solo keyboard music is solo keyboard music. The concerti, it's the Deutsche Kammerphilharmonie, and he's directing from the keyboard. But fortunately, his hands are busy. So most of the time anyway. So his direction from the keyboard is fairly rudimentary, and the orchestra plays it just fine without him, essentially. Mozart, piano concertos. Let's see. It's the same folks, and it's Pletnev again conducting. Yeah, I remember these. Sure. I just listened to the 9th again, the Jeune Homme, just to see if my memory of it was, it was very favorable, was still good. And yeah, I think they're lovely performances. And I like the fact that the orchestra is there to provide stability when he is not always the most stable, but he behaves, so that's really good. Beethoven sonatas. Okay, Moonlight, Waldstein, Appassionata. Yeah, there's lots of great Beethoven. This great Beethoven, I find the Waldstein to be a little bit unsteady. Maybe that's the word. I don't know. There's a blurriness to his articulation in the first movement, and that it sort of annoys me. The Moonlight is pretty. It's nice. The finale, the final presto, could, I think, have more bite to it. The Appassionata, that's the best performance here, I think. But they're good. I mean, they're good, and I'm not gonna, you're not gonna have him as the only version of these works, so I can't really complain in that sense. There's nothing disgraceful going on. Then we've got Chopin, the second piano sonata, a couple nocturnes, 4 of them, the Barcarolle, and the Scherzo No. 2. I loved this disc when it came out, especially the second sonata, especially the finale, which is just one of the spookiest performances of that you've ever heard in your life. It's a very freewheeling, romantic approach to the music. But boy, he plays that finale with it's presto, but also legato, and it's like some creature under a swampy pond, and all you see is the ripple approaching you, and it's wonderful. And the other performances are absolutely gorgeous. So I really, really enjoyed that disc. We have the Brahms clarinet sonatas, and the Weber Grand Duo Concertant for clarinet and piano with Michael Collins, clarinet. Pletnev is a very good, considerate accompanist and partner, chamber music partner. He doesn't do that much chamber music and stuff. I'm sort of glad he did this. I think it showed him off well, and Collins is a very, very fine clarinetist. They're lovely performances. Pictures at an exhibition. Yum. Yeah, okay. So this does have quite a few Pletnevisms in various movements. The little bit of push me, pull you, but nothing too crazy. And what really was wonderful about this disc was the coupling, which was music from Sleeping Beauty arranged by Pletnev himself, which was beautifully played and sensitively done and really wonderful. So the Mussorgsky I sort of considered a bonus because it was the Tchaikovsky that really did it for me, actually. Then we've got Tchaikovsky's The Seasons, better than the new one by a certain, hotshot Korean virtuoso guy, who I thought was a little bit, immature in his handling of the work. Others disagreed, but I'm not concerned because I was right and they were wrong. Anyway, this is a fabulous recording of The Seasons, along with the 6 pieces Opus 21. And unlike that other recording of The Seasons, you get more music on everyone else's recording of The Seasons, not just Lim's. Yeah, this was really, really fine. His Tchaikovsky generally was very good, his Tchaikovsky piano stuff. So we have the Philharmonia under Vladimir Fedosiev doing all the Tchaikovsky concertos and the concert fantasy. And these are really good performances. They are romantic, they are rhapsodic, they are freewheeling and full of spontaneity and a little bit of quirkiness. And they're very romantic performances. They're beautifully done. I really enjoyed these performances. When they were like my personal reference for all the Tchaikovsky piano concertos, and the concert fantasy particularly, which is I think a neglected masterpiece, is fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Then he did the Pathétique with the Russian National Orchestra. And then he went on to record like 2 Tchaikovsky cycles, and they were dull as ditch water. This Pathétique got raves from a lot of critics when it first came out. I liked it. I still like it. It's a very balletic performance. It's not an expressionist nightmare. It's not the most... It's surprising. You see, he didn't know how to conduct that well when he did this. So, when he learned how to conduct, he got worse, because then he tried to inflect the music in all kinds of demented ways, and he could get the orchestra to do it. Here, he was still somewhat metronomic. He was beating time, keeping it together. He wasn't going for the most hysterical climaxes. It was a sensitive, and I said metronomic, that's not really fair, but like I said, balletic. It had a strong rhythmic undercurrent without indulging in the histrionics that someone like Gergiev brought to the work, which, by the way, I liked a lot. I mean, you really can't be histrionic enough in this music, but that's okay. For people who wanted a cooler approach, it was a very good performance. I remember like the gramophone reviews of these things. The Tchaikovsky Pathétique, they would talk about whether or not it was a performance for regular daily household listening and stuff like that. And I would just look at this and say, when would the Pathétique ever be a work for daily household listening, that you want an average performance, you can play it every day? I mean, it's like weirdest thing. But they said that. When Bernstein's came out, it was, not a performance for daily household listening or something. I don't know. There was some phrase they used in a couple of reviews that just blew my mind. But this is the kind of performance that you could actually digest rather easily. And some of you may want something that's much more harrowing. I get it. But it's a fine effort. It's held up well, and it's certainly better than most of his remakes of this piece. Then what would we have? Oh, Scriabin. Oh, this was fun. The 24 Preludes, Opus 11, Piano Sonata number 4, Piano Sonata number 10, a bunch of preludes, the poem Languide and the Danse Languide, and a couple other pieces and things. Oh, this is all wonderful. Just great stuff. It's slushy, romantic, chromatic gloop, and he does it so well. He gives such purpose in his shaping of the phrases. The sonata is really well put together. It's excellent. And then, last but not least, the Philharmonia Orchestra with Libor Pesek, Rachmaninoff First Concerto, and the Paganini Rhapsody. This did not impress me so much. The piano playing is marvelous. It really is. And the First Concerto, he's got it totally together. The Paganini Rhapsody is beautiful, but the accompaniment is a bit pale. It just lacks guts, and as a result, the whole performance seems a little bit, well, it was like the Scriabin, languid, just a little bit lacking in energy and in point and rhythmic acuity. I don't know. It's really good piano playing. And I played this again when this thing came, and I can't say my opinions changed very much. The Paganini Rhapsody particularly needs more orchestral detailing and more a more vibrant give and take between the soloist and the orchestra. And that's how I feel about it still. But on the whole, you've got 16 pretty terrific CDs. I mean, this is a wonderful box by a major artist, a terrific pianist who's did not subsequently, in my view, live up to the promise of the best of these earlier recordings. There were some. I mean, his C.P.E. Bach disc was fabulous. But as a conductor, I find him wholly unnecessary. Remember, his Beethoven cycle was revolting, and his Tchaikovsky cycles were dull, and his Rachmaninoff symphonies and other things, not terribly exciting, very ordinary. But his piano playing was never very ordinary. It's kind of interesting, anyway. But as a conductor, he was either ordinary or perverse. As a piano player, he was a romantic to the manner born. Go figure. But get this. I mean, this is great. It's really great. And a lot of this stuff's been out of print for a long time. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.